Madam Chair, we are now live.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the meeting of the Town of Ajax Accessibility Advisory Committee meeting for Wednesday, September the 23rd, 2020. This meeting is being held electronically and live streamed on the internet. Due to the COVID-19 emergency, no in-person meetings are being held due to the physical distancing requirements. All regular practices and procedures of the committee apply during this meeting. If we encounter any technical difficulties, we may take a brief recess while we resolve those, and we will then return to the meeting. And we will now proceed with the meeting. Before moving into the agenda, do any committee members need to declare a conflict of interest with any items on the agenda this evening? Okay, great. So let's move into the agenda. We need to adopt the minutes of the last meeting from Wednesday, June 17th, 2020. Could I have someone to please put forward a motion to
I'll move it.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder?
Second.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's carried. All right, moving on to presentations and discussion items. First off, we have item 4.1, accessibility and business, collaboration opportunities, discussion. Welcome to Mr. Terry Maniger of Economic Development.
Well, thank you very much for having me join you this evening.
Madam Chair, if I may, I just wanted to introduce Mr. Terry to the committee this evening as he's a newer member to the town of Ajax during this pandemic season, but he's definitely not a stranger to the region of Durham. The tie-in with our committee interest here is I know as the committee in the past has talked a little bit about how can we expand our outreach and awareness within the community, and we try to target different populations within the community, and one of those has been discussions about the business community in the past. And Don also has a background with accessibility. He was the co-chair of the 2019 Parasport Games in Durham region. So accessibility is also something of a forefront in his portfolio as well. So with that being said, I thought it would be a nice opportunity to have this, the meeting of the members as well as Mr. Terry to talk about maybe some of the initiatives and ideas we've had for business collaboration and see if he had any insight or ideas where we might be able to take something forward.
Wonderful. Terry, if you'd like to proceed, that would be great. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be with you this evening. And as Sarah has said, I have a grand interest in accessibility, having spent probably three and a half of my years of my recent past preparing to host the Ontario Parasport Games and then hosting them. And I now currently also sit out of those games. One of the legacies, there's a number of legacies that came out of that. One of them has been to form an adaptive sport collective for Durham region. So we now have formed a group that is trying to work with all of the sport organizations that offer adaptive sports and working to encourage more participation and more opportunities for people to participate in sport. I'm about 3.5 months, maybe 3 months into my role now here in economic development. Currently working on the final aspects of a proposed 5-year economic development strategy, and very much want to see accessibility, inclusion to be part of that plan. So I think that we have opportunities to work together and to pull in other community partners to work with us as well around accessibility. I don't know if you have some ideas. I know that Sarah has shared the guide dog initiative that you're putting forth right now, and we have shared that to our business partners and through our Twitter account to businesses, hoping that they will want to sign up and be part of that. If you have other ideas, we're open to that. I certainly see opportunities. They would have to be virtual at the moment, but I see opportunities for us to partner on perhaps some online sessions for business around the that it not there's not just a good thing to do, but it's good business to make sure that your businesses are accessible. I think we can do that kind of thing together. We're very interested during the Parisburg Games preps. One of the things that we found was that we were very fortunate in Durham region to have accessible for sports facilities for the most part, and to have accessible accommodation. But one of the groups that we looked at then partnering with, and I don't know if this group has ever looked at them, but there's an organization called Stopgap. Are you familiar with that organization? Anybody? If not, I'll just give you a quick version of what I know about Stopgap. Stopgap is an organization that pulls together volunteers in a community. So you can work with them to set up a day where they'll build small wooden ramps. So when I look around our town, for instance, in the old plaza, there's a number of locations that the entranceway to the retail outlet is a small step up. What Stopgap does is they work with the community to get volunteers and businesses to build small ramps that can be put out into the entrances, which then eliminate that small ledge from being an issue for access to a store or to a restaurant. So that's another thing that we could look at possibly partnering on down the road. Those were two ideas that I had off the hop, but I'm sure that you have lots of ideas as well.
Okay, so does anyone have any thoughts or questions on this topic?
As someone who rides around on a scooter all the time,
Yes.
I'm finding there are not too many problems anymore. People have really come forward and tried to address our issues. There's a few places it's a little rough, but other than that, you can really do something. There's one problem at the corner where the Goodwill store is right next to McDonald's on Bailey. Know where I'm meaning?
Yeah, along Monarch Avenue, right?
Sorry?
Along Monarch Avenue?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
When you get to the corner there, when you're crossing, either to go to the McDonald's or wherever, you get off the sidewalk and there's utilities right in the way. And the only way to get around them and onto Monarch is to travel at the side of the road. And that is a very, very busy intersection there. And I do not feel comfortable when I have to do that, because I have to run right up the side of the lane, the bicycle lane, I call it, to get up into their property and anywhere all the way up there, because there is no sidewalks and nothing to be able to do. So that is one that has really been bothering me, trying to get up there. Another one is at No Frills right across the road on the south side of Bailey. And when you come off the side street, if I can remember the name anyway, there's no sidewalk. So again, you're facing traffic or the traffic's behind you. There's things like that that we need to go around the town and figure out which ones are accessible for people with mobility devices and which ones are safe for them. That's one area there that I do travel a lot, and I notice the problem, and I go, you know, you have to stop and wait and wait and wait. And we need to really look at some of our intersections and some of our sidewalks and see what can be done. And also coming out of Ajax Plaza north of Bailey, there's a couple there that aren't very safe to be able to get out through them when you're using a mobility device.
Yeah, I think
I would like to see us spend some time or get the town to spend some time and look at the good ones, which there are quite a few, but there are a few now that are still dangerous to be able to travel on as you're on the road.
no, I appreciate that. Sarah and Councillor Khan, is that the type of thing that you would work with active transportation or road safety on?
Well, thank you. Definitely we'll, I think Barb, if you want to send us an email, send me an email and I'll have your local councillor informed about it, and then we'll go around and look and see. But that's what you have your councillors for, right? Yeah, you're not supposed to keep that within you and deal with that. That's what we're here for, to help address these issues. That's why I sit on your committee. So
Great.
things happen, just let us know and then we will address them. Like, that's what we're here for.
I'm
right?
hereby notifying you. Done.
No, you got to
Thank
send me
you.
in writing or I have no legs to stand on. And also remember, I keep telling you guys to get the AppJax app on your phone, and you report an issue on the spot. It goes
On the phone?
directly.
On my phone?
Yes, there's an
On my
app.
what is the phone?
Okay, hang on. We're diverting a little bit here.
We are.
So Barb and Councillor Khan, perhaps you two can continue this discussion via email, and let's rope ourselves back in. Does anyone else have any thoughts on partnership economically with businesses or economic development for Terry this evening?
Madam Chair, I saw Roseanne and then Ray.
Go ahead, Roseanne.
Oh, great. Yeah, so first thing that came to mind, and I know Councillor Khan would have an influence in that, is the Ajax Pickering Board of Trade. Could that be a possible connection for the accessibility as a networking model? Also, just to speak to Barb's point on the intersections, that's actually a regional, the Durham region is responsible for the intersections. So that can go directly to Janet Traer as well.
One of them I referred to is not on an intersection.
Oh, okay. So yes, that's what I wanted to bring out.
It's on
and a question for
driveway into a business.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
What's your question, Roseanne?
a question for Don. That stopgap organization, do they cover all of Durham region or just town of Ajax?
Oh, they're actually out of Toronto.
Oh, okay.
But they're province-wide. They have a website. I think it's just stopgap.ca if y'all want to investigate it a bit and see how it works. And if it's something that you're interested in, what I would suggest is identifying, some locations that would benefit from these ramps. Historically, we go participate in the Toronto International Film Festival, and you'll see these small ramps everywhere during that festival season. So they can be brought in and out. And certainly, just to your other point as well, when it comes to the Board of Trade, both Councillor Khan and I are past presidents of the Ajax Pickering Board of Trade. And through our economic development and through his work, we work very closely with the Board of Trade. So when you have messaging that you're wanting to share with businesses, for instance, with this guide dog initiative, we certainly share that with the Board of Trade, and then they will share it with their members as well. We also have working relationships, of course, with the two BIAs, business improvement areas that are in the town, who we can also share messaging with and encourage them to share it with their broader member base as well.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Ray, you're up.
Hi, Don. I'm just wondering, is the stopgap organization is just for ramps, or are we looking at anything to do with accessibility?
For that group, they focus
Yeah.
just on ramps.
Right.
Just on ramps.
But
Yeah.
accessibility in general, of course, with COVID here, not coming, is here.
Right.
And it's, there's always accessibility issues, especially with the blind community, and the education to stores, BIAs, or whatever, because it's
Yeah.
even those 6 feet stickers, I don't know where they are, or I can't feel where they are with my cane. So
Right.
it's an education, maybe an education opportunity for.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you wholeheartedly, and that's one of the things that we could do as well. We could, again, it's you guys have the lead on these things, but we can certainly support them with messaging or partnership. But I know with the preparation for the games, for training for all of our volunteers, we brought in individuals with handicaps to work with, or with disabilities rather, to work with to work with all of our volunteers to teach them some of the challenges that our athletes would have and the best way to assist them. And I think businesses would benefit from that type of education as well. So we're here to help you. So when you have initiatives, we'll do everything that we can within our resource constraints to help you.
Good, thank you.
It
really is important.
It sure is.
Right. Was there anyone else? Okay, well, Terry, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I know that if we have any further thoughts or ideas, that we can forward them to you via Sarah. So I've learned some stuff this evening, which is great. So I'm sure we all have. So thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Well, thank you for having me, and I look forward to future partnerships.
Thank you, Don.
All right, take care, y'all. Bye-bye.
All right. Next, we're moving on to item 4.2. That being September is Guide Dog Awareness Month. And some of the initiatives that Sarah and I have worked on together for this. Sarah, do you want to take the lead on this, or?
Sure, I don't mind starting us off, Madam Chair, but I think that you have a lot to contribute to this. Over the summer months, I was contacted by Julia with interest in doing some type of recognition for September as Guide Dog Awareness Month, as it is something that's near and dear to her heart, but also has a significant accessibility education and awareness component to it as well. So we met and did some brainstorming and solicited some feedback from the CNIB. And we had put together several different educational videos. There is a web page on our IMO platform at ajax.ca/access that has information regarding a coloring contest that's currently going on for the month of September. And there's been some social media messaging. Julia participated in a series of videos with her and Abby to talk about some of the do's and don'ts when interacting with a guide dog. We promoted the availability of free guide dog welcome decals for businesses and organizations within the community. And is there anything that you would like to add, Madam Chair?
I don't think so necessarily. It was wonderful to partner with Sarah and the town to do, I think we did 4 or 5 videos on different topics. And I wrote an article that's on the town's, I think it's on the town's webpage or on the social media. And it was great to, have the opportunity to get information out there into the public, because a lot of people I've discovered that a lot of people think they know things about guide dogs, but either they're a little bit misinformed or they don't quite have it on the nail on the head, and or they'd like to know more, but they don't know who to speak to, or they're afraid to approach someone because they don't want to, you know, be offensive. So it was great to get information out there, and I think it was especially good. Sarah had this idea of this coloring contest. It's open to any age and stage in life, and you can win one of 2 guide dog plush puppies that Sarah got from the CNIB store. So it's been a wonderful initiative. Yeah.
And the great thing about the resources that we've created through this initiative is that they're legacy pieces. We can use those throughout the year and years to come in terms of promotion of accessibility, awareness, and inclusion specific to guide dogs and service animals, and have those teachable tools, if you will. So unfortunately, I think some of our messaging has been bumped due to COVID, but we still have all of those resources available. Not necessarily if we can't use them all in September, we'll be able to use those in the future as we unroll different initiatives.
Okay. Anyone have any thoughts, or can we move on?
We can move on.
Okay, let's move on to 4.3.
Sorry, Madam Chair, Ray looked like he had his hand up.
Oh, okay, Ray.
We
Ray?
can't hear you, Ray.
Trying frantically to unmute myself. I just want to know, was there a contest, a coloring contest, and how did it work out?
The coloring contest for anyone watching at home through the chair is still going on. It goes on until the 29th of September. The sheets are available at ajax.ca/access, and it's open to all Ajax residents of all ages. And there will be a random draw from all participants for, as Julia mentioned, one of 2 guide dog plush toys. And that draw and winners will be announced on September the 30th.
Perfect.
Thanks, Ray.
Okay. Next up, we have item 4.3, which is the Regional Accessibility Award. Sarah, I believe, is going to put up the draft motion, because this item on the agenda does require a motion to be carried. So, Sarah, if you want to go ahead.
Through the chair, what I might suggest is that members, I believe Ray is the only one here at the moment, but members of the subcommittee might want to speak to the process of working behind the scenes over the summer and how they came up with the nomination, and maybe speak to it before we review it as a committee. And then I'll get the information up on the screen here.
Great. Okay, so Ray, given that you're the only member of the subcommittee here this evening, you're up. If you could tell us a little bit more about your process over the summer, that would be great.
Well, the subcommittee, we didn't have a chance to meet that much, which is unfortunate, but we did come up with some ideas, and we personally, I was very impressed with, and I can't remember her name, the young lady who came to get the a grant from the town, and personally, I was very impressed with her, and I think she even came into a few meetings of ours, and so I put the nomination forward to the subcommittee, and it was accepted, and so that's really how how it came about, and we didn't really get a chance of meeting Zoom, which I'm discouraged about, but people have different different things to do, especially in the summertime. So anyway, the nomination's in front of you, and I hope you will read it and review it.
Okay.
So through the chair, I have put up the nomination on the screen. It was also included in the agenda package. And if there are any questions or additions to the draft nomination as presented, we're welcome to take those now. But we would also be looking for a motion for the committee's approval to move forward with nominating Abira Karalasingam for the Region of Durham Accessibility Award.
Okay, any thoughts, questions, comments, additions from any other committee members?
Right now, this is the first time I've seen it, and I can't even get my mouse to move things up and down. So, ow.
It was in the agenda package.
Uh,
Sarah's gonna move it for you. Don't worry. Sarah, are you controlling the agenda or is it the broadcaster? There you go. My magic.
Councillor Khan spoke and it happened.
Here you go.
Sorry, I'm wearing multiple hats tonight. Would anybody like it fully read out? It's not, we don't have to read the full nomination, but if somebody didn't get a chance to read it in the agenda package, I'm happy to do so.
I was waving my hand, but I'm not sure if anyone can see it, if they're reading. I was wondering if it would be beneficial to put maybe the timeline of when she submitted it and when it got approved, if that helps. I'm not sure. I know it's supposed to be within the last year so just to kind of reiterate that it has been within the year.
Yes, we can definitely add those details. Great suggestion.
I cannot get this to even move.
Through the chair, Barb, you won't. I'm the one controlling what you see on the screen at the moment.
Okay, that's why it's not working. It's all your fault.
Yes, do you need me to scroll up a little bit? Is that
It's
better?
easier to read that way, Sarah.
How's that? And just while you're reviewing the materials there, if I may, Madam Chair, I was speaking with Janet Treyer, the Regional Accessibility Coordinator, and due to the current circumstances, we're obviously unfortunately not going to be able to meet in person this year for the annual Aac Forum as in years previous. However, my understanding is that she is looking to do some type of recognition for all award recipients towards the beginning of December, possibly to coincide with International Day of Persons with Disabilities. But as details are finalized, I'll be sure to share those with the committee. It would obviously also be something virtual or online through social media.
What is her thoughts and background on the upgrading the North Ice Pad accessible washrooms?
Who's Abira's?
Yes.
Well, if you recall, Abira did attend the committee meetings in the past when the committee was discussing various projects for consideration. So she was involved in all of that process in terms of the discussions about how we wanted to try and select a project that would maximize the input, the outreach to the community in terms of its impact. So that's why we chose to do something at a facility such as a community center. But the committee was involved with those discussions in the past.
Is she as a person with a disability? Is that her thought?
I can't speak to whether or not that's the case.
Thank you. All right. Good.
All right, so right now, let's move forward that the Ajax Accessibility Advisory Committee nominates Abira Karalasingam for the Durham Region Accessibility Award. Do we have someone who would like to make that motion?
Point of order, Madam Chair. Am I allowed to vote because I was on the subcommittee?
Yes.
Yes, so I put my motion forward for the nominee.
Do we have someone to second?
I will second.
Wonderful, motion carried.
Madam Chair, just one quick step here. We do have to do a vote. All in favor?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, vote. All in favor. I'm
All
sorry.
right.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, motion carried. Got ahead of myself, sorry. Moving along to item 4.4 on the agenda, upcoming recognition and engagement opportunities. we'd like to have a discussion with the committee regarding interest and ideas for recognition and engagement of upcoming dates. Um, uh, Upcoming dates include October being Mental Health Awareness Month, as well as December 4th is International Day of Persons with Disabilities. So any thoughts or ideas, suggestions, comments as to how we might recognize those, or anything we might like to do around those upcoming opportunities?
Ray has his hand up, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Ray.
I don't have a suggestion for now, but I'm just questioning, why is it December 4th? I thought it was December 3rd.
Oh, my apologies through the chair. That could be a typo on my part.
Okay, don't worry. I owe you an apology, Sarah, because I looked at those two items and said, what about Guide Dog Month? And Sarah said, look at the agenda. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ray. I'll double check that.
Okay.
Through the chair, for mental health awareness, what do you think about doing what we did earlier this year with the collage of sentences? I know that's a lot of footwork for you, Sarah. But, do you think that that's possible? Just to have our accessibility committee acknowledging mental health awareness.
So Roseanne, can I just clarify, that was when Sarah had gone around and photographed us holding different words, forming different sentences?
For our National Accessibility Awareness Week, I think.
Okay.
Yes, now I remember.
Yes. Okay, that's a great idea. That's a great thought. Anyone else?
Ray has his hand up.
All right. Okay. Now, okay. I like the collage idea, and I got to. Before I come up with my question again, what do you, Sarah? Do you know the theme of this year's December 3rd initiative?
Not at this time. I did check a few weeks ago. I'm not sure if it has been updated.
Okay.
On the UN's website, there was another subsidiary organization that did have a theme, but there wasn't anything official from the United Nations website as of the last time I checked.
Why? I like the collage idea as well for the December 3rd. I'm thinking of. I know I attended one of the booths for the citizens. Senior Citizens Day, or sometime, I can't remember when it was. I know it was very loud, but we was asking seniors, what does accessibility mean to you? And we were getting great answers. Maybe we can do something around, what does accessibility mean to people of Ajax?
That's a great idea as well, Ray. We could possibly solicit some ideas through the website or through social media. Fantastic idea. Anyone else? Okay, so this is upcoming, obviously. So as you may perhaps give this some thought, and as you have some ideas or questions, comments, thoughts, let's feel free to send them to Sarah, who can disseminate them to the committee, and let's try to put something together for recognition for both of these upcoming dates. I think that would be great.
And through the chair, what I may suggest is that when I send out the minutes for circulation, as we do have several members absent here this evening, just put a call out for anybody that wants to participate in planning or coordinating of any of those initiatives, in case there are those members that maybe can't take those things on right now, and then we'll move forward from there, if that sounds okay.
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea. Okay, moving along. Item 4.5, work plan review. So we're looking at updates for the work plan and our priority focus and action items for the end of 2020. We also want to review the format and the report to council from our committee on November 16th. It will be an online electronic council meeting. So looking at the work plan and then looking to see if the committee would like to prepare a written and or verbal report to council for that November date. So does anyone have any thoughts as to looking at the work plan right now? Does anyone see anything that they would want to say, I think we should make sure we get this done before the end of 2020? Or this is a priority that we need to focus on before the end of 2020?
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I could just add, we all know it's been a year unlike any other, and we haven't had a chance to participate in some of the normal initiatives and outreach activities that we have in the past. So just taking a look at what we had on our plan, and if there's a way that we can transition anything that we haven't currently been able to tackle, or if we've identified that things might not be as a priority for the remainder of this year, but maybe can be shifted towards 2021. Just looking for some feedback in terms of what the committee is most interested in the short time we do have remaining within this calendar year. So if we can just kind of walk through at a high level here. Madam Chair did mention that there is a annual report scheduled to council on November the 16th. That's usually something delivered by the chair, but obviously if you were looking to do some type of presentation with slides and content, we would be looking for committee members to participate in the creation of such. I mentioned earlier that the regional Aac Forum is going to look a little bit different this year. So that tentatively would have normally had been held in October or September, but tentatively will be moved to December. So when we have more details on that, they will be shared. We did manage to execute some awareness activities via social media for National Access Awareness Week, even though it looked a little bit different this year. In the spring, we had our status report on the accessibility plan. This evening, we were wrapping up our role in nomination for the Durham Region Accessibility Award. I do have a presentation that was just recently confirmed from Durham Transit that's scheduled for our next committee meeting to discuss some service changes in the midst of COVID-19 and any questions that the committee might have. So that's something that we can look forward to. And unfortunately, we had several cancellations of our community events this year, so we didn't get a chance to take part on that. A couple of these items that follow are ongoing items that we look for ongoing participation from our members, and that includes our newsletter content. Julia mentioned that she had written an article regarding Guide Dog Awareness Month. If there's any topic of interest, it doesn't have to be tied to a specific month of significance. We're always open to seeing that feedback put online to share as an awareness piece. We're also going to look at ramping up our site plan review subcommittee again in a virtual format. It's not the most ideal, as we know site plan review is quite technical at times, and in a small confined screen creates a whole other layer of challenges, but I think it's important to maintain this committee's feedback through that review process. So you will see that subcommittee reviving in the weeks to come. We also have the opportunity for ongoing social media messaging, although in light of current circumstances, our posting times might be limited in terms of what messaging we can get out. And then sort of to piggyback on Mr. Terry's presentation tonight, any accessibility informational resource development. So if we did want to take a look at some of the tips for businesses to consider when preparing their physical space for accessibility during a COVID scenario, we might look at creating a tip sheet or of things to watch out for or best practice considerations, something like that. Blind Square technology was implemented earlier in this year, but unfortunately due to our facility closures, the project is sort of on hiatus at the moment. And then looking at ongoing monitoring of legislation, if there is other community education and awareness pieces we can do. So we know we have our Brain Injury Association exhibit that's been here installed within Town Hall for the past few months, but we've been closed to the public. So we might look at opportunities to create a virtual tour of those materials, or perhaps reach out to the Brain Injury Association of Durham to see if there's any interest in extending the exhibition of those materials into 2021, where we might be in a better position to reopen facilities to the public. And also looking at our age-friendly Aac strategy. We know that the plan was approved by council earlier this year, and now that staff are coming back on board, I know Laura Ray has returned to that portfolio, and the steering committee will be meeting in the weeks to come. So there'll be more content and initiatives coming forward with that portfolio that we can look forward to taking part in as well. So thoughts and feedback on any of the materials there.
I would love to see a virtual tour of the brain injury display done. Uh, I think sometimes, I mean, I know for myself anyways, I don't necessarily think about, when I think about disability, I don't think about brain injury for whatever reason. And it's definitely, I mean, a huge issue. And I had the opportunity when I was filming with Sarah a video for Guide Dog Awareness Month. She let me into the foyer to take a look at the display, and the creativity and the expression that the participants have put into the masks is unbelievable. Just incredible detail, incredible expression, a story within this mask. So I would love to see us get a virtual tour up and running either for December for International Day of Persons with Disabilities, or for some other upcoming time.
Roseanne.
Through the chair, I would agree with Julia. I have witnessed the exhibit myself, and it was very powerful. So it would be great to have the masks be seen, and as well as the little write-ups that they have with the masks are very powerful as well, to hear a story. You know, one that comes to mind, I remember a lady, she was out bike riding with her friends and went down a hill too fast, and then ended up flying a number of feet and developed a brain injury. So it's something that's there. I myself have a brain injury from a car accident, and so I do have a connection with the Brain Injury Association of Durham. If that's something we'd like to move forward with, I can certainly approach them.
Okay, thank you, Roseanne. Thoughts from anybody else on the mask display or anything else that Sarah highlighted?
Madam Chair, maybe through the committee members here, is there any thought or preference to how you might want to deliver your presentation to council this year? Be it a written report, or would you like to do a delegation with some slides and a presentation? Or mix of both, whatever you prefer.
I'm not sure at this point. Definitely something written, but I also think a verbal component would be good, because that's normally how we do it. But I honestly haven't given it a huge amount of thought at this point. does anyone else on the committee have any thoughts as to, given that it's going to be an electronic meeting, any thoughts as to the presentation that we'll be doing? I've never attended before, so if anyone has attended the presentation in the past, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Councillor Khan has his hand up, and then Ray.
Councillor Khan.
Thank you. Make sure I'm on, yeah, get them unmuted. So I know with the hard work that this committee does, I know council would appreciate a short slideshow. I think we would appreciate it. We have really long meetings. The last one, Monday, finished almost at midnight. So you make it short and sweet, and also add something in the report so we can read and know what to expect. I think that would be a double whammy. And I know, it's got to be concise. And I know this committee deserves that recognition. So I think you should do both, as long as it's really short and gets to the point, because there's so much that we accomplish together as a team. And, I show it off. I show you guys off a lot. So it would give me an opportunity to show off for a committee again. So that's my suggestion. We would appreciate a slideshow and a written report.
Okay, wonderful. Ray.
I'm going to add one more to Councillor Khan, because I do agree exactly what you said. A written report, short and sweet, slideshow, but it's nice to put a face to a committee, and maybe just have a guest, because I know Barb did a great job to the council. I know we were there live, but just coming on, a few minutes,
Of course.
a few minutes, and I think put a face to the committee.
Roseanne has her hand up.
Roseanne.
So through the chair, I was thinking, and this is inspired by my son's obsession with YouTube videos, that if we have the video editing, the right video editing people, we could have someone playing having the PowerPoint behind, and then having our face superimposed over the PowerPoint so that they can see our face doing the presentation. And then we actually record it to play for the meeting. So we're recording it to play it.
So more like video.
Okay.
You can do a TikTok video.
I guess it could be. I was just thinking of those YouTubers, the gamers that show their game, but they have their face in the corner while they're playing it. So they're narrating it as they're playing it. And that's what I'm thinking about the slideshow, and then the person's face on the slide.
Through the chair, essentially that's what would happen during an electronic council meeting. It's very similar to how we set up the meetings here. Our meetings are modeled after that. So you would have the option to appear via video, just as you are this evening, and then we could put up the slides and transition through the slides as you're speaking to them, so that you would appear as that box on the screen, while they can also see the slides at the same time. Probably not as technically advanced as the YouTube video, but I think it would achieve the same purpose.
Yeah, they have a green screen and everything. So,
all right. So, given the input from Councillor Khan and Ray and Roseanne, Sarah, I think I would like to proceed with a written and visual presentation.
Great, thank you. So again, when I send out the minutes, I'll solicit some feedback and some highlights from everybody, because we want to make sure that this report is representative of the entire committee. So if there's any favorite moments or activities that we did manage to accomplish this year that you think should be included, we'll make sure that everybody's feedback is captured.
Great, wonderful.
Okay.
Any other thoughts on the work plan? Okay. So moving on, number 5 on the agenda, correspondence. Does anyone have any correspondence that they shoot? Yeah.
Madam Chair, there was nothing received on my end for the committee. I'm not sure if anybody else has anything to share.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just lost everything for a minute, and I thought I lost my connection to you. So forgive my little utterance there. I thought I had no volume or anything, so forgive me, please. Okay, let's move on. Number 6, update from council. Councillor Khan, do you have anything you'd like to share with the committee this evening?
Couple of small, very big things. Did you know that chiropractic was fathered in Ajax? So Didi Palmer was the first person to perform a chiropractic. And it was, he's from Audley and Taunton, that area, like where I live in Ward 2. And last week we unveiled Ajax's most newest plaque in honor of Didi Palmer. It's at the Audley Recreation Center, a few feet away from where he was born. So chiropractic was born in Ajax, something to be very proud of. So when you get a chance, go around to the Audley Rec and look at the plaque we put right at the entrance. So I never knew that, and I'm very proud. I'm very, very proud that this is where chiropractic came from, Ajax. Not just Canada, it's from Ajax, all right? So that's one. The second thing, you must have all heard about Amazon. Amazon will be, it started already. It was a very big deal. The mayor and staff worked very, very hard on that. And it was very hush-hush because it's very competitive bidding for that. And I will be out, I think next year, but we're looking at 1 million square feet of space. And we're looking at 1,000 jobs starting at $16 an hour with every imaginable benefit that they offer. And it's a great win for us in Ajax. Oh, did I mention it was in Ward 2? Oh, no, I didn't, but it is in Ward 2 again. And I just those two things I want to share with you. Very things for you to keep your chin up and be proud of your town. But thank you for the opportunity for sharing that with you. If you guys have any questions, please let at me. Yes, thank you.
Okay, that's incredible. I had no idea chiropractic was from Ajax. And I heard about the Amazon thing, and I thought that was phenomenal. What a great opportunity for Ajax, and jobs and business and the economy. It's fantastic.
Thank
So
you. Just to add to that, I hear a few naysayers saying it's going to affect business in Ajax. And as a business person myself, you're not going to stop going. It's not a walk-in place like Costco. You still go online and order, and people ship it. It's not. But we are doing the bulky stuff like patio sets and office furniture. That's the stuff coming out of Ajax, right? It's going to enhance our community. You're going to have 1,000 people more spending money in your town, every day, every month, and it's a really big win for us, and we're extremely proud for the work we've done, and honored that Ajax was chosen in Ontario for that honor.
yeah, absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Number 8, other business. Does anyone have
Yes.
any? Okay.
Yes.
Great.
Okay,
Barb,
other business.
go ahead.
Couple of weeks ago, the fire alarm went off in my condo building. We have 17 stories. I was on number 10. And it was going on, and the fire reels pulled up, and no one seemed to know what to do, and everybody stayed in their condo. But it's really scary when things like that happen. My thoughts is, what happens when the fire reels pull up and you have a fire on the 11th floor? And what do we do from there? I haven't seen anything in any of the stuff I have read, which I've checked over to see if I could find anything. And it doesn't seem to be anything there to what happens to the person who has a disability who is on the 11th floor. Being up here, it's a long way down. I wouldn't want to jump down a rope or anything else. But what happens?
Barb,
Some of the,
can I interject
can I
something?
finish?
Sure, of course.
Thank you. A lot of places have some alarms, but not what happens to you. So if this thing, you know, the bells go off and all the whistles and everything else, does the Ajax Fire Department, are they aware of who is up on what floor? And how do they get them out of there if there really is a fire up on the 11th floor? And what are we supposed to do? Is the fire department aware that we are up there in the sky and need some help to get down? Does Ajax have a list of who is on any of the floors to be aware that if there is a fire up on the 11th floor, you have to send somebody up there to get them out of there? Also, do they have any equipment to do that? Now, I understand this was all accessibility, polio accessibility committee that I was on today too. So if the bells go off, does the fire department know that there's somebody up on the 11th floor that needs help?
Okay, so I can actually speak to this because I live in an apartment building as well. I'm on the 6th floor. My understanding is that is the responsibility of the management of your building to coordinate with the fire department. So for instance, management in my building sent out a notice to every resident, and they do it on an ongoing regular basis, that said, in the, in case of fire, do you need assistance leaving the building? And you write your name and your apartment number and your contact information, and then that goes back into management. Management gives that information to the fire department, and then at the front of the in the lobby of our building, there is a locked box that has all that information in it, so that when the fire department comes, all they have to do is unlock that box and they see everyone who needs assistance in the building. So I would speak to the management of your building because I believe it's done via management and it's not a responsibility of the town. It's actually a responsibility of management of each building to coordinate that. As to the equipment question, I am not sure, but I would imagine that the fire department would come well equipped to handle any and every situation that would present itself to get someone out of a building. Can anyone else speak to this?
Madam Chair, Sarah speaking. I can speak to it a little bit, just to echo your thoughts and comments. We did have the Deputy Fire Chief visit us, probably was towards the beginning of last year, mid last year, when the town was reviewing its fire master plan. And we had discussed this very scenario. And because it's a very valid question, especially with people moving from maybe a house to an apartment building, never have had that experience before. And you are correct. The responsibility is with the property manager. So if you haven't been contacted by that individual, make sure that if you feel you are in need of assistance during an emergency, that you do make those needs known so that they are documented. And then during an emergency situation, there is that responsibility of transferring that information to fire and emergency services, who would be fully equipped to attend whichever type of emergency situation they are called to. That's not to say that there aren't other awareness pieces that you could consider for your own self or for neighbors or friends and family, where I think we were looking at one point in those emergency information cards to place on your fridge to go one step further in the event that you aren't able to leave your particular place and somebody is coming to you during an emergency if it's not fire related. And we do have some of those materials from the Durham EMS services. So when we're in a position where we are interacting with the public more readily, we can look at an information campaign and partner with fire services to look at distributing those materials within the community as well.
Because one of the things that our polio survivors group, which met yesterday, most of them had no idea what would happen, what they could do, etc. How would they be pulled out of their apartment or condo, whatever. And also, evidently, there are different ways of bringing them down from the top. So evidently in some areas, they do have special wheelchairs that can bring them down, but the people have to be aware of this and have to be able to get the people out of the building. The other one that's available is like skis that evidently, if your condo building or apartment building gets a set of chair with skis, it's a lot easier for the fire department to bring you down on skis down the stairs than carry you down the stairs. And I have had no information about this right from the beginning. So I thought tonight would be a good idea to bring it up, to see what is happening around Ajax, to help people if there is a fire in their building or any other kind of major problem, what happens? And that's what I was questioning is, what has Ajax done to make sure that people have disabilities that are in high-rise buildings are able to get out and being cared for properly?
So Barb, as Sarah had mentioned, I would encourage you to contact management from your building. I would also encourage you to let the rest of your polio survivors group know that they need to contact the management from their building and see what kind of a fire safety plan they have in place. As well, I would suggest if you have concerns or if they have concerns about how they would be removed from a building in case of an emergency, feel free to contact fire services in their area to find out what equipment the fire department has in your area and how you would be assisted to leave your building, just for peace of mind. Okay, so does anyone else have any other business that they would like to bring up to the committee?
Just
Yeah,
quickly.
thank you for cutting me off.
I wasn't cutting you off, Barb. We need to move along.
Okay, fine.
Through the chair, sorry, just before we wrap up this topic, one point that I didn't get to address with Barb's question was regarding Ajax hosting a list of vulnerable individuals. There had been discussions years previous at a regional level and in different locations across the province about maintaining a database of such information for emergency purposes. And I think the committee brought this up as well during consultation and feedback for the fire master plan. We're currently not in a position where we have such a list created, but it is feedback that was shared with Ajax Fire and Emergency Services. So whether or not that the feasibility or the timelines for something like that being created, I know that this group here has shared those ideas. But the important thing that we need to remember about accommodations is that it is a two-way street. And if you do feel that you need an accommodation, it's important to make that accommodation known to those individuals that can provide that support. So just to reiterate and reemphasize that you do need to contact that management office to let them know if you have not already done so that they know that an accommodation and support would be needed in case of an emergency.
Thank you, Sarah. Councillor Khan, you were going to say something?
Or it's not important anymore. It's okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other new business? All right.
Sorry,
Roseanne,
I just
Sorry, Rose.
remembered. I apologize through the chair. I know I usually report on the Durham Region.
Oh,
Accessibility
I'm
Advisory
sorry,
Committee.
Roseanne. Yes, is there
But
anything from the committee?
we didn't get a quorum. It was supposed to be yesterday, but we didn't get a quorum, so we didn't meet. But there were two specific reports that once we do receive those presentations, I would love to present. One is from the CCAC particularly, and of course updates on the Durham Transit, the ongoing changes that are taking place over the pandemic.
Absolutely. My apologies, Roseanne. I have that in my notes and I left my head for a minute. I would be very interested in hearing those reports, as I'm sure everyone else will be, particularly CCAC. Okay, so I think that's it for this evening. That concludes our meeting tonight. May I have someone to put forward a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Ray Smith. Right.
And a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councillor Khan. All right. Thank you, everyone, for
Good job,
joining.
Julia.